We are now hearing for the first time since the Senate made its move from President Trump. Gabe Gutierrez is at the White House. Come on in, Gabe, because it came on Truth Social, which is where the president often delivers that first reaction in the last few seconds.
Yeah, that's right, Hallie. Look, no sooner than I had to walk away from this camera a few minutes ago, went inside to speak with White House officials about whether the president would sign this bill potentially tonight. At that same exact time, the president posting this on Truth Social, not giving any indication for a timeline, but notably saying, quote, "I don't care when the Senate passes the House bill, whether tonight or at some other time in the near future. I just don't want Republicans to take their eyes off of all the victories we've had." And then he goes on to list some of those victories, including what he calls the great big beautiful bill and also closing borders. This is something that the president has insisted on over the last.
Okay, stop everything, because this is absolutely massive. The special counsel just obtained Trump's deleted texts. Yeah, you heard that right. Deleted texts. Messages that Trump thought were gone forever. Messages he probably deleted specifically because he didn't want anyone to see them. And now prosecutors have them all. Every single deleted direct message, every erased tweet, every communication that Trump tried to hide. And according to sources close to the investigation, what's in those messages could change everything. We're talking about potential evidence of coordination, cover-ups, obstruction, the kind of smoking gun material that prosecutors dream about. And it's all recovered now, all in the hands of the special counsel. And Trump has no idea how bad this is about to get. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest, you can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us, be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video.
In the last few minutes, saying that he essentially does not care about the timing of when this gets out of Congress, but also giving no indication about when he actually does plan to sign this bill. In speaking with White House officials, again, very briefly in the last few minutes, they have no indication on whether the president might sign this tonight. It is notable, however, that he will be hosting the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman here at the White House for a glitzy dinner. Unclear if he'll be able to sign this tonight or if he could wait to sometime in the future, Hal.
Gabe Gutierrez, don't go too far from a camera given the pace of things tonight. Appreciate that.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
So here's what happened. Special Counsel Jack Smith's office executed a search warrant on Trump's Twitter account, which is now called X, but whatever. And they didn't just get Trump's public tweets, they got everything. All the tweets he created but never posted. All the drafts he wrote and deleted, all the tweets he liked and then unliked, all the direct messages he sent and received, and most importantly, all the messages he deleted thinking they were gone forever. Because here's what Trump probably didn't know. When you delete something on social media, it's not really deleted, not from the company's servers. The message disappears from your view and from the public, but the company still has it. And with a valid search warrant, prosecutors can get it all. Every deleted message, every erased communication, everything Trump tried to hide. And the timing of these messages is what makes this so explosive. Prosecutors specifically targeted communications from around January 6th and the period when Trump was dealing with the classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, the two biggest investigations Trump is facing. And the deleted messages reportedly show Trump's inner circle coordinating legal and media responses in real time, planning what to say publicly, figuring out how to spin things, maybe even discussing how to hide evidence or obstruct the investigations. We don't know exactly what's in the messages yet because they're part of an ongoing investigation, but prosecutors wouldn't have gone to this much trouble to get them if they weren't significant. Think about what this means. Trump deleted these messages for a reason. People don't delete communications unless there's something in them they don't want others to see. Innocent messages don't get deleted. So the fact that Trump went through and deleted specific messages, probably hundreds of them, tells you he was worried about what they contain. He was trying to hide something. And now prosecutors have recovered exactly what he was trying to hide. That's devastating for Trump. Because whatever's in those deleted messages is probably really bad. And Trump can't spin it or explain it away because he already showed he thought it was damaging by deleting it. And here's the kicker. The search warrant wasn't just for Trump's account. According to unsealed court filings, prosecutors also got deleted messages and communications from Trump's associates and staff, people in his inner circle, campaign officials, legal advisors, all of them probably deleted messages, thinking they were covering their tracks. And now all those deleted communications are in the hands of prosecutors. So even if Trump's personal deleted messages don't show direct evidence of wrongdoing, messages from his associates might show what Trump knew, what he ordered, what he was told, the full picture of coordination and planning that Trump has been trying to hide. The forensic search went back years, not just days or weeks around specific incidents, years of communications, login data, deleted drafts, private direct messages that were never supposed to see the light of day. Prosecutors have built a complete digital paper trail of Trump's communications, and they've got the technical expertise to recover things that Trump thought were permanently erased. This is a digital forensics breakthrough, the kind of thing that changes investigations, because suddenly all the evidence that Trump tried to destroy is back. All the smoking gun communications that would have been lost are now recovered, and prosecutors can use them, and Trump can't do anything about it. The search warrant was properly executed. A judge reviewed it and approved it. The evidence was legally obtained, so Trump can't argue that it's inadmissible or that his rights were violated. He can complain about it publicly, and he probably will, but legally, there's nothing he can do. The messages are now part of the evidentiary record, and they're going to be used against him in court, either in the existing cases or potentially in new charges if the deleted messages show additional crimes. This is Trump's worst nightmare, because he thought he covered his tracks. He thought deleting those messages would make them disappear forever. And now he's finding out that you can't really delete anything in the digital age, that forensic investigators can recover communications even after you think they're gone, and that trying to hide evidence by deleting it just makes you look more guilty. So what happens next? Prosecutors are going to analyze all these recovered messages. They're going to build timelines. They're going to connect dots. They're going to show patterns of coordination and cover up. And then they're going to use that evidence to strengthen their cases against Trump. Maybe file additional charges. Maybe flip more witnesses by showing them the evidence and offering deals. This recovery of deleted messages is a game changer for the investigations, and Trump knows it. All right, let's dive into the technical and legal details of how prosecutors recovered these deleted messages and what it means for Trump's legal situation. Because this isn't just about some text. This is about digital forensics, obstruction of justice, and the increasingly sophisticated ways prosecutors can recover evidence that defendants think they've destroyed. First, let's talk about how the recovery actually works. When you delete a message on Twitter or any social media platform, what you're really doing is removing it from public view. The message disappears from your timeline, it disappears from your DMs, but the actual data, the text of the message, the time it was sent, who it was sent to, all of that still exists on the company servers. Social media companies keep backups, they have archives, they maintain logs for system integrity and legal compliance. So even though you can't see the deleted message anymore, the company still has it. And with a valid search warrant, law enforcement can get access to all of it. That's exactly what happened here. Special Counsel Jack Smith's office obtained a search warrant for Trump's Twitter account. Now X, initially resisted. They claimed executive privilege on Trump's behalf. They argued that compelling them to hand over a sitting president's communications violated separation of powers. But a federal judge rejected those arguments. The judge said the search warrant was valid, the investigation was legitimate, and Twitter had to comply. And Twitter did comply. They handed over everything. Not just Trump's public tweets, but all his direct messages, all his deleted tweets, all his drafted but never posted messages, all his likes and unlikes, a complete archive of Trump's Twitter activity going back years. And the scope of what prosecutors got is really significant. According to the unsealed court filings, the search warrant specifically requested all tweets created, drafted, liked, or retweeted by Trump's account. That includes tweets that were created but never posted. Think about that. Trump probably has dozens of tweets he wrote in anger or frustration, but then thought better of posting. Draft tweets that were too inflammatory or too revealing. And prosecutors have all of those drafts now. They can see what Trump was thinking, what he almost said publicly, but decided to keep private. That's incredibly valuable for understanding Trump's state of mind and his intent. Because even if Trump didn't ultimately post something, the fact that he drafted it shows what he was thinking at that moment. The search warrant also specifically targeted Trump's direct messages. These are private conversations that Trump had with other users via Twitter's DM feature. And many of these DMs were deleted. Trump probably went through and deleted conversations he didn't want preserved. Maybe conversations with lawyers discussing legal strategy. Maybe conversations with associates discussing how to handle the classified documents. Maybe conversations with political advisors discussing January 6th. We don't know exactly what was in the deleted DMs yet, but prosecutors wouldn't have specifically requested them if they weren't looking for something important. and the fact that Trump deleted them suggests he thought they were incriminating. Now let's talk about the legal implications of recovering deleted messages. In some situations, deleting messages can itself be a crime. If you're under investigation and you delete communications, that might be evidence. That's potentially obstruction of justice. It shows consciousness of guilt. It shows you're trying to hide something. Now prosecutors have to prove that Trump knew the messages might be evidence and deleted them specifically to obstruct the investigation. That's a high bar. But the fact that Trump deleted messages from specific time periods around January 6th, around the classified documents incident, makes it easier to argue that the deletions were intentional obstruction rather than just routine digital housekeeping. And even if deleting the messages isn't itself a crime, the content of the deleted messages could be devastating for Trump. Because think about what people typically delete. You delete messages that make you look bad, that show you doing or saying something improper, that contradict your public statements. So whatever Trump deleted is probably stuff he really didn't want anyone to see. And now prosecutors have it all. They can compare Trump's deleted private messages with his public statements and show discrepancies. They can show Trump privately acknowledging things that he publicly denied. They can show coordination and planning that Trump claimed never happened. The deleted messages are like a window into what Trump really knew and what he really did, as opposed to what he's been claiming publicly. The sources close to the investigation are saying that some of the deleted messages show Trump's inner circle coordinating legal and media responses in real time. That's really significant because it suggests the messages might show consciousness of guilt. If Trump and his team were coordinating their stories, that implies they knew they had something to hide. If they were planning media responses before facts came out, that suggests they were trying to control the narrative rather than just telling the truth. Prosecutors can use this kind of coordination evidence to show that Trump wasn't just making innocent mistakes or acting in good faith. He was actively trying to manage the fallout from his actions in a way that suggests he knew those actions were wrong. And the digital forensics didn't stop with Trump's personal account. Prosecutors also obtained deleted messages from Trump's associates and staff members, campaign officials, legal advisors, White House staff. All of them probably deleted messages for the same reason Trump did, to hide communications they didn't want preserved. And now prosecutors have all those deleted messages too. So even if Trump's personal communications don't directly incriminate him, messages from his associates might show what Trump ordered them to do, what Trump told them, what they told Trump, the full scope of coordination across Trump's entire orbit. The unsealed court filings show that prosecutors cast a wide net. They didn't just target communications from a few specific days. They went back years. They got login data showing when and where Trump accessed his account. They got metadata showing when messages were created and when they were deleted. This kind of comprehensive digital paper trail is incredibly powerful in court because prosecutors can build timelines. They can show that Trump deleted certain messages right after specific events occurred. They can show patterns of behavior. They can demonstrate that Trump's deletions weren't random, but were targeted at hiding specific types of communications. And here's something most people don't realize. Prosecutors can often recover messages, even if they're deleted from the company's servers. If messages were synced to other devices, if they were backed up to cloud storage, if they were forwarded to other accounts, there are multiple ways to recover them. Modern digital forensics is incredibly sophisticated. Experts can reconstruct deleted data from backup systems, from device caches, from network logs. So even if Trump thought he completely erased something by deleting it from Twitter and then clearing it from Twitter servers, investigators might still be able to recover it from other sources. So Trump is learning a hard lesson about the digital age. Nothing is ever really deleted. Everything leaves traces. Every communication creates a record somewhere, and law enforcement has the tools and expertise to recover those records even when you think they're gone forever. Trump probably thought he was being smart by deleting incriminating messages, but all he really did was create additional evidence of obstruction, because now prosecutors can show that Trump tried to hide evidence, and they can still use the evidence because they recovered it. So Trump gets hit twice, once for whatever the messages show, and again for trying to delete them. Okay, let's break down what this means going forward and how these recovered deleted messages could affect Trump's legal cases and political situation. Because we're looking at a potential game changer here. First, the immediate legal impact. Prosecutors now have evidence that Trump probably thought was gone forever, evidence that could directly contradict Trump's defenses in the classified documents case and the January 6th case. For example, if Trump has been arguing that he didn't know he had classified documents or that he thought they were declassified, but his deleted messages show him discussing the classification status with lawyers, that blows up his defense. If Trump has been claiming he didn't know about plans to interfere with the 2020 election certification, but his deleted DMs show him coordinating with people who were planning exactly that, his defense collapses. So prosecutors are probably going through these recovered messages right now. looking for exactly these kinds of contradictions, looking for evidence that disproves Trump's claims, looking for smoking guns that show Trump's guilt beyond reasonable doubt. And based on the fact that Trump deleted these messages, there's probably plenty of incriminating material in there. Because again, people don't delete innocent messages. The mere fact of deletion suggests there's something damaging in the content. Second, these recovered messages could lead to new charges. If prosecutors find evidence of crimes they weren't previously aware of, they can bring additional indictments. Maybe the messages show witness tampering. Maybe they show conspiracy with others who haven't been charged yet. Maybe they show perjury. If Trump testified one way, but his private messages show he knew something different. The possibilities are endless, and every new charge makes Trump's legal situation worse. Makes it more likely he faces prison time. Makes it harder for him to mount an effective defense across multiple cases. Third, these messages could be used to flip witnesses. If prosecutors recovered deleted messages from Trump's associates showing their involvement in potential crimes, they can confront those associates with the evidence. They can say, look, we have your deleted messages. We know what you did. You can either cooperate and tell us what Trump ordered, or we'll charge you too. And faced with that kind of evidence, some associates are going to flip. They're going to cut deals to testify against Trump in exchange for lighter sentences. We've seen this pattern before in other investigations. Once prosecutors have documentary evidence, witnesses start cooperating because they know lying won't work anymore. So these recovered deleted messages don't just hurt Trump directly, they also help prosecutors build cases by flipping witnesses. Fourth, the recovery of these messages is terrible for Trump politically because it feeds into the narrative that Trump has something to hide, that he's been lying about what he knew and what he did, that he tried to destroy evidence and cover up his crimes. Even people who were willing to give Trump the benefit of the doubt might look at the fact that he deleted hundreds of messages and think, okay, he's definitely guilty of something. Innocent people don't destroy evidence. So Trump's political brand takes a hit. His claims of being persecuted by the deep state ring hollow when he's the one deleting evidence. His attacks on prosecutors as conducting witch hunts fall flat when there's actual evidence of his wrongdoing. Fifth, this is going to affect Trump's ability to shape the narrative going forward. Because every time Trump makes a public claim about what happened or what he knew, prosecutors can potentially contradict him with his own deleted messages. Trump says he didn't know something. Prosecutors leak that his deleted messages show he did know. Trump claims he acted in good faith. Prosecutors reveal deleted messages showing he knew his actions were improper. This kind of real-time fact-checking, using Trump's own words, is devastating. It makes it impossible for Trump to control the story. It means every public statement he makes could potentially be contradicted by evidence prosecutors have. Sixth, the fact that prosecutors were able to recover these deleted messages sends a message to everyone else in Trump's orbit. It says, we can get your deleted communications too, so don't think you're safe just because you erased something. That's going to make other potential defendants and witnesses think twice. They're going to realize that deleting evidence doesn't work, that it just makes them look guiltier, and that might deter some people from following Trump's example, might make them more willing to preserve evidence and cooperate with investigators rather than trying to cover things up. Seventh, this recovery of deleted messages is going to be studied by lawyers and investigators for years as an example of successful digital forensics in a high-profile case. Law enforcement agencies are going to look at what worked here and apply those techniques to other investigations. Defense lawyers are going to advise their clients never to delete anything because it can probably be recovered. And the public is going to become more aware that digital communications aren't really private or erasable, that everything leaves a trace. That's a significant shift in how people think about digital privacy and evidence. 8. Trump's going to attack this whole process. He's probably already planning tweets or Truth Social posts claiming that prosecutors violated his privacy, that the search warrant was improper, that this is government overreach, and his supporters will believe him. They'll see this as evidence that the deep state is out to get Trump. They'll rally around him, but legally, Trump's attacks don't matter. The search warrant was properly executed. A judge approved it. The evidence was legally obtained. So Trump can complain all he wants, but he can't get the evidence thrown out. The deleted messages are going to be admissible in court, and juries are going to see them. So what happens next? Prosecutors are going to continue analyzing the recovered messages. They're going to build their cases. They might file superseding indictments with additional charges based on what they found. They might use the messages to flip more witnesses. They might leak selected quotes to the media to shape public opinion. And Trump's legal team is going to go into damage control mode. They're going to try to get ahead of the worst revelations. They're going to prepare explanations for whatever's in the messages. They're going to try to minimize the damage. But there's only so much you can do when prosecutors have recovered all your deleted messages. The evidence is what it is. And for Trump, this has to be terrifying. because he deleted those messages thinking they were gone, thinking he'd successfully covered his tracks. And now he's finding out that not only do prosecutors have the messages, but they've had them for months potentially. They've been building their cases around this evidence, while Trump had no idea. He's been making public statements, filing legal motions, claiming innocence, all while prosecutors had evidence that potentially contradicts everything he's been saying. That's a nightmare scenario for any defendant, to find out that the evidence you thought you destroyed has actually been in the hands of prosecutors the whole time, building a case against you without you even knowing. So yeah, this is huge. The recovery of Trump's deleted messages could be the turning point in these investigations. Could be what finally leads to convictions that stick. Could be the evidence that's impossible to explain away or spin, and Trump only has himself to blame. Because if he hadn't deleted those messages in the first place, prosecutors might never have focused on them so intensely. But by deleting them, Trump essentially put up a giant sign saying this evidence is important and incriminating. And now prosecutors have it all, and they're going to use it. And Trump's legal situation just got a whole lot worse.